Okay, hello everyone, let's get started. So in today's video we continue talking about Android basics, and today we'll look in more details at layout file, and we'll talk about some of the components we can find and use there. Yeah? As a reminder, what is a layout file, where we can find it? Please have a look at the previous video where we talked about Android Studio project structure, which files we have, where they're located, what is the purpose of each file, and so on. Yeah? So the link should appear on the top right corner right now. Yeah? But we continue. So let's go to our app module, src, main, resources, and under layout we have activity main layout. Yeah? So that's the file, XML file, which describes our first screen. Yeah? So when we talked about Android Studio project structure, we talked that we have a layout, which basically describes what we see, and we have an activity under Java folder. And this activity file, that's a Java code file or Kotlin, depending on which language you use, which describes what happens on the screen. So if I press this button, what happens? So if a button exists on the screen, how it looks like, that's described by a layout. What this button does, if I press it, that describes activity. Okay, so by default, when we have just created our project, we have one activity and corresponding layout. Yeah? So here, by default, we have a design tab enabled, meaning that we can interact with our layout in graphical mode. So here on the top right corner, we can switch the mode, let's say to code. Then we have a XML code, which actually describes everything, or we can choose split, yeah, meaning that we have both XML code and also the graphical representation, how our layout will look like. In the majority of videos, we'll use this split mode. So you can choose whatever you want. And let's see, let's have a look. So what we have? So first of all, our root component, meaning that the component which takes the whole screen, is a constraint layout. Yeah, so that's basically a layout into which we place all other components. Yeah? There are a lot of layouts besides constraint layout, but we will start from the simplest one, from the linear. Yeah, let's delete that everything and let's start with linear layout. Yeah? So linear layout, that's a layout which allows us to place components into it, which should be ordered linearly, either horizontally or vertically, depending on what we want. Yeah? And let's see the attributes, the main attributes of linear layout. We have layout width, meaning here we set the width of our layout, meaning how much space on the screen it takes. Since this linear layout is a root component for our screen, we would like it take the whole available screen, both by the width and height. Yeah? That's why this attribute we set to match parent. Yeah? And the parent for this root component is screen as such. Yeah? Match parent, it will take the whole available area. Yeah? Another available option is wrap content, which also will be used quite frequently by us, meaning that the height or width or both will be set to the value which will allow to insert all other components into it. Yeah? So for example, right now we have only one component, text u, is some text as you can see. And as I said, width of the linear layout wrap content. So you see the width is exactly like it could include a text view. Yeah? It's not on the whole screen right now, but only just to include text view. Yeah? Another option, you just specify uh, the width or height in dp, yeah, in pixels. Yeah? But usually for the root component, we actually choose match parent, so it takes the whole available screen, right? Okay, and context. It's very important for linear layout, and this actually is a link to activity. Yeah, to activity which describes the business logics of our layout. So what happens if I press this button? What happens if I press this button, and so on. Yeah. So each layout is tied to one activity. Yeah. So since we have generated this activity automatically by creating a new project, it's already tied to this main activity. Also, another option which we uh, should set for a linear layout is orientation. Orientation. It could be either horizontal, meaning that all components will be placed linearly in horizontal widget, or vertical, to place it vertically. So we will place them vertically. Okay, so right now we have only one component. Let's copy it to have two text views. Okay, and you can see, yeah, since our orientation of our linear layout is vertical, both components are placed in a row in a vertical manner. If we change it to horizontal, yeah, you can see all components are placed into row horizontally, right? Okay, let's have a look at text view. What we have in the text view. So layout width, layout height, we're already familiar with these two options. Yeah, so they set width and height of the component. So for text view, it makes sense to have it set to wrap content, meaning that it will be exactly like it needs to be to include the text. So the text of the text view we can set by using this text tag. And now we have it set to hello world. Okay, so since these constraints are from constraint layout, we can actually remove them. Okay, but still, what we have here as well. So basically, if we are talking about text view, so we have only three tags or properties which should be specified by us: layout, width and height, and text. Okay. Okay, that would be all for today. So that's just an intro to layouts. In particular, we talked about linear layout. In the next video, we'll talk more about most popular components we can use. So in particular, we'll continue talking about text view, and also we'll talk about a button component, right? So that's all for today. Thanks to all for watching. So if you still have some questions, doubts, comments, suggestions, please write them in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, that's the right time to do that. Okay, so you don't miss any upcoming videos. That's all for today. Thanks to all for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.